Picture, they say, is worth 1,000 words. Back with us on the SportsMax Zone. A roster that reads Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Carmelo Anthony, and the company, shockingly, isn't fighting for an NBA championship. Instead, the discussion is perhaps whether and where that group of players is heading for vacation. Is it the Bahamas? Is it Cancun? Is it Bora Bora? Is it Montego Bay? Those places might be among the leading candidates. The final nail in the Lakers' coffin was hammered Tuesday night as last season's losing finalists, Phoenix Suns, strolled to a 121-110 win, in the process reaching a franchise record 63 wins in a season. The tough-talking, no-nonsense, outspoken analyst Kendrick Perkins took to social media to voice his opinion. This is what Perk tweeted. "The Lakers really tricked me. They really had me thinking they were about to do this and do that, and my big dumb freely fell for it. The fact that they are 17 games under 500 is making my damn skin crawl. They can't get a pass on this one. Real talk," says Perk. We usually say highlights of NBA games, but from a Lakers perspective, these are pretty lowlights.
Coupled with San Antonio's win earlier in the night, the LA Lakers need a win to stay alive in the play-in race. Devin Booker and the Suns looking to make a historic 63rd win tonight for the Phoenix Suns. Anthony Davis gets ready for tip-off. Malik Monk finds Russell Westbrook for the three. That works. Lakers up 15-8. Carmelo Anthony finds Austin Reeves, who drives and makes the circus shot plus the foul. Reeves 18.6 assists on the game. There's another look. The Lakers up 36-33, so trying to stay alive. Taylor Horton-Tucker finds Anthony Davis for the layup. Davis 21 points, 13 rebounds. Lakers by three. Devin Booker, though, makes a step back three. Boy, that's money, and Phoenix goes into the lead. And Chris Paul impounds to Devin Booker, and Paul to Booker works wonders. That ended the first half, and the Phoenix Suns up by 5 at the break. Third quarter, Russell Westbrook drives, misses the lay-in. Paul pushes the tempo, nice ball movement. Paul to Mikal Bridges, and Bridges gets the finish, then thread the needle. It's Booker to DeAndre Ayton for the alley-oop, 22 points, 13 rebounds. Then Paul to Booker for three. Booker 32.7 rebounds. These highlights coming at you fast and furious. Chris Paul gets the steal, dishes to Bridges for the alley-oop stuff, and it's a new franchise record. 63 wins for the Suns. The Lakers are out of the playoff picture. Your final score in this one, 121-110.
It's not a cute phrase, but it's accurate, you know. The injury-prone Anthony Davis spoke with reporters after the Lakers ousting.
Our goal was to win a championship. I feel like we had the pieces, but injuries, got in the way of that. And that was the difference in our season. I think even though we lost games where all of us was on the floor, me, Bron, Russ, I think we were three great players, but we would have, figured it out. If we lost more minutes together.
Anthony Davis. Now, there are still people who will claim they don't see what the big deal is about Chris Paul. Those are among a few who don't give Chris Paul due respect. But have a look at this. In 2008, the Hornets registered a franchise record number of wins in the regular season. 2014, the Clippers did the same. 2018, the Rockets did the same. And 2022, the Suns did the same. What do all those teams, those four teams, have in common? The point guard, Chris Paul. When contacted to speak about the Lakers' season early on Wednesday, his response was, "Oh boy." Joining us now is our NBA analyst, Alister Albert. Wonder what he'll say now. Alister, good afternoon. Welcome to the SportsMax Zone.
Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me again to talk about these Los Angeles Lakers one more time.
Yeah, the lost Angeles Lakers, because they are lost right now.
That's right.
Oh, boy. So, from your perspective, my learned friend, where did it go wrong for Frankie V and his team?
Man, there's so many things you could point at, and there's so many people that you could blame, so many fingers that you could point. But, I think overall, it's a roster construction that just didn't work. I think when most people saw, Russell Westbrook coming to the Los Angeles Lakers, there was just this raised eyebrow and people wondering, how in God's name is this actually going to work? This is a ball-dominant guy who was probably not going to work very well with LeBron James. And that's also not even just to put it on Russell Westbrook. He did kind of contact LeBron James to say that he wanted to be on the team. LeBron went to Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka actually said, okay, fine, let's do that. We did have a trade for Buddy Hield there, and we were actually looking at DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan's agent actually called Magic Johnson to say, he wanted to come home, he wanted to play. And, Magic was like, oh, okay, this deal is going to get done. And then Rob Pelinka talked to LeBron, and they decided to change their mind and bring in Russell Westbrook. So that's one thing. And yes, Anthony Davis is right. There was the level of injuries that that was a bit unfortunate for them. That didn't allow them to gain any sort of momentum and chemistry. And then we have, of course, Frank Vogel, who is said to be expecting to be fired at the end of this season. And he has some culpability and accountability to take as well, with his rotations and everything, like I've said throughout the whole season. So there are a lot of fingers to blame, a lot of people that you could talk about. But I think it's LeBron, Pelinka, Vogel, Russ's play, everything.
Alister, you mentioned injury as one of your points. The big three, they played 21 games together. And many would feel when they assess how they played, all three together, fit and fine, as if they still didn't get the best performance when the big three were together. Did you see that?
Yeah, and that's where the roster fit issues came in. This is a team that after they won in 2020, they expected the rise of Anthony Davis to kind of really take on. He would kind of go on to be the torchbearer for that team. LeBron kind of taking a little bit of a back seat and kind of just going into the twilight of his career a little quietly, not having to put up 50-point nights, not having to, be as heroic as he was this season. And, Anthony Davis, came in again to a season when he was, dramatically injured over and over again, and he calls into question, his off-season habits. I think that's been said quite a lot around different sports agencies and all of that. But, it does bring that sharply into focus. What do you do during the off-season to get ready and not be as injured as you are? And yes, basketball, there's lots of freak accidents that happen and everything, but Anthony Davis is just not durable. He needs to change his regimen and do something about that. And, I think where Russell Westbrook is concerned, he came in, he kind of wanted to really assert himself. He was playing back at home, where he's from, wanting to really push the pace. And, he created loads of turnovers, didn't really mesh with his teammates, in that regard. And, it's just fit issues. They just didn't fit. There was no fluidity in how they played. They were not able to play against each other. There was a little bit of one-on-one. You go LeBron, I go Russell, you go AD. And it just never really worked. And it's just not a cohesive unit. And, I just hope they find ways to fix it next year, because they can't have a repeat of what happened this year.
Yeah, speaking about ways to fix it, as we get ready to wrap this segment, do we expect drastic changes for the Lakers coming soon? And by that, I'm hinting on the fact that LeBron, will he even extend his contract?
Oh, that's a good question. We're not sure what he's going to do. There has been so many talks about him wanting to continue his career wherever his son is going to be. There's even been hints about Oklahoma City, because he kind of praised Sam Presti, their GM, recently. There are 8 free agents on this team, unrestricted free agents that are not going to be on the books on this team. And, that's going to be an issue. But they only account for about $12 million in terms of contracts. They already, next season, without even the ball bouncing into next season, they're already just $1 million under the luxury tax threshold. So what can they do with that with the roster construction that they need to do? They need to be very creative and trying to bring back guys on very cheap contracts, and hope maybe that if they want to, get rid of Russell Westbrook, find a team that, is really willing to take on his contract and get something back that could get them under the luxury tax and even further, and kind of bring in pieces that complement that team. So it's going to be a lot of creative accounting going on in the Los Angeles Lakers executive offices, as they try to figure out what happens next year, and we'll see what happens.
Well, Alister, never thought I'd be talking to you about the Lakers being knocked out of the playoffs. It's a terrible thing. As I said to our basketball expert here, Orion Buchanan, the last nail has been driven into the coffin of LeBron as the GOAT. by virtue of this outturn.
Let's end that conversation right now.
All right, my friend, we'll talk again. All the best.
See you later.
Good. These are the scores of the games played on Tuesday. 76ers winning, so too the Magic, the Raptors, the Heat. Bucks, Wizards, Spurs winning. Jazz winning a crucial game against the Grizzlies. The man they call the Stifle Tower, Rudy Gobert, at his best on Tuesday. The Pelicans winning and confirming the Suns KOing the Lakers.